Hello everyone, this is D-Witcher1 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Gemmy 2010 life-size Cottage Coven Witch Animatronic. Now this item was made exclusively for Target stores in the year 2010, and it was never made again after that. The audio in it was never used again in production. Her offhand was never used again in production. There's a lot about this that was just not used again once it was made. And one of the trademark aspects of this item, it's similar to Horace the Butler, where the audio is super over amplified, so she's very, very loud and it's pain to your ears. But I guess it's pretty good for a loud setting, like in a loud haunt or something like that. Originally this item came with a broom, but that is unfortunately gone. However, the previous owners decided to give her some black flowers, which honestly kind of worked for her also. This item did need some notable repairs when I got it. The one mechanism in this item, because all she does is turn her head, mechanically speaking, that was actually perfectly fine. I've not had to do anything to that. However, there were some other issues. So when I initially got it and put it together and plugged it in, it did nothing. And I did not use the adapter that came with her because it was a 12 volt and she takes a 6 volt, so not a very good idea to be using that, but unfortunately 12 volt seems to be the most common household adapter, and hey, the plug fits into the hole, so it'll work. Now, I don't necessarily blame the previous owners because it's like, well, it's not that far away in voltage, but for these things it can matter. So I was pretty concerned when she didn't turn on, and I started taking her apart and I noticed there was a wire that was cut in half. It was a pink wire. And it seemed like it went to the box with the tri-me jack and the switch, so I was thinking, oh, it must be the switch that's disconnected and that's why she's not getting power, because she wasn't indicating she was getting power at all. And so I reconnected that wire with solder, electric tape, all that, and then I tested her again and there was still nothing happening. So I opened up the little box that has the tri-me jack and the switch in it, and it turns out the pink wires went to the tri-me jack, so for some reason her tri-me jack at one point was disconnected. And I don't know why that was. That's so super duper odd, but it's just how it was, and I fixed that. But she still wasn't working. I looked at the board and nothing was exploded on there, no blown capacitors, anything like that, which, given when it came with a 12 volt, I was kind of starting to expect that was the issue, but it wasn't. So I checked all that, and then I looked at the connector that connects her base to the rest of her to get power. And there was one of the little tiny prongs in there that was mushed to the side. And for all I know, that could have happened when I first put it together. There's a chance that happened, probably a good chance, because if it was already pretty compromised at that point and kind of already bent out the way a little, it would probably just take one more push from the other half of the connector to put it out of place. So I simply just got some tweezers and kind of pried it back into position, roughly speaking, and then it connected and she worked, and that's the end of that story. So very relieving that it only was the prong, but through all that I did fix the tri-me jack and I got to look at her board, which was kind of cool. She actually has a board from Rotor Broom, because it has the Rotor Broom item number on it, but they just, repurposed it, if you will. So there's actually a lot of empty spaces on the board with components missing, and it almost has me wondering if there's like a mouth movement or eye movement programmed for this item, because the eyes do not flash to the words like a lot of the witches do, which means that there's not mouth movement. They just stay constantly lit when she's turned on or activated. So who knows with that? I don't feel like looking into it. But here she is before us, fully working, and there's no box, there's no broom. The broom kind of sucks on her though, I'll be honest. it's a very like thick pole, and it's very smooth and shiny and plasticky looking. There's no detail to it at all. It just kind of seems like almost a painted PVC pipe versus an actual broom. And I suppose some brooms are, made like that with a very smooth rod that doesn't have like a bunch of imperfections in it, but I don't know, it just kind of, it didn't feel right. So it's not the end of the world that she doesn't have it, but probably would have been nice. I'll show you some close-up details. And as I'm doing that, she was sold alongside the Unearthly Ghost Riser life-size by Gemmy at Target that year. And there were no other real full-size characters on display. There would have been like some smaller sized techie items that were kind of life-size in the box, but there weren't any others really set up like these were. And you can find videos on like Jordan's channel and all of that showing her in store, but here's her hand, which is pretty cool. It is not the Wicked Witch of the West hand. It was only used in production for this item here. Her dress is a really unique dress for a Gemmy item. So this is kind of a, sorry, my frame rate's decreasing here. So this part is kind of like inflatable fabric, but softer. And the black is actually like a felt material, which is very interesting. So it kind of has that kind of coarse feeling to it. And then you have this kind of lace material here, and even underneath this here. So it's a very unique dress. And the dress actually does pretty much go all the way down to the base. With some items like Medusa or Head Dropping Witch, the dress is like hovering above the base. And it's just not the best look. But yeah, that's about it. So now I will plug her in and we'll hear all of the very, very loud phrases. So yeah, she actually has several phrases. It's not just like 2 or 3 or even 4, which is pretty impressive. All the phrases, like I said, are unique to this item. It's not even just the recording. The actual written phrases were not re-recorded for anything. So they're all unique to this. And they're different, they really are. This whole item is different. And that makes it pretty neat, just with all the uniqueness to it. She is shorter than I expected. Whenever I would see her, a lot of times it would be in like in-store videos, or when I saw her as a little kid in 2010 in stores, she seemed taller than she is because she was up on a high shelf. And the way she's built, it just seems like she's pretty tall, but she's actually not. She's like maybe 5'8", 3 at the highest, and like my prototype witch holding the flaming cauldron, she's like 5'8". And head dropping witches are a bit taller too. So it was just kind of a surprise seeing it in person again. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. I'll do some close-up shots just to finish off the video. And that'll be about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.